One of these peacocks is completely white like a ghost and costs $50,000. Which one will it be? The one with a 2-meter dragging tail? The one that inflates an alien throat during mating? Or the iconic one with 200 open feathers? There are 15 birds created by God that look impossible. Some have ocelli that shine like neon, others drag tails like endless wedding dresses, and there's one that looks like a living barcode, golden crests, scarlet layers, and another with thousands of perfect white dots. Get ready to discover. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now let's get started. Number 15, albino peacock. The pure white ghost that looks like a living marble sculpture and costs up to $50,000. Its plumage is completely snow white without a single spot of color. The albino peacock is an extremely rare genetic mutation in which the bird lacks pigmentation entirely. Its pure white fantail looks like an eternal wedding gown. Its eyes are pink or pale blue, creating a spectral contrast. Can you imagine seeing this white apparition opening its tail under the sun? The most incredible part is that its extreme rarity makes it worth up to $50,000 in specialized markets. In the wild, they would be easy prey because they cannot camouflage, which is why they exist only in protected captivity. Breeders dedicate decades to perfecting pure albino lineages. They're so rare that some collectors have waiting lists of years. God created this spectral variation that defies all logic of natural survival. Comment if this white phantom took your breath away. Number 14, Indian peafowl. The icon of beauty with a tail of 200 feathers spanning up to 2 meters when open. Its open tail is literally one of the most iconic images of the animal kingdom. The male Indian peafowl has up to 200 tail feathers with ocelli that resemble hypnotic eyes. When he opens his fan, it reaches 2 meters of pure iridescent magnificence. Its metallic blue and emerald green shine like living jewels. Most fascinating is the sound it makes while opening. Its feathers vibrate, creating an infrasonic hum that females detect but humans barely perceive. Did you know that the tail feathers are not actually part of the true tail, but covert feathers that cover the real tail? In India, they are considered sacred and protected by law. God crowned the Indian peafowl as the absolute king of natural ostentation. Tell me if you've ever seen one displaying live. Number 13, green peafowl. The emerald cousin with an electric blue neck and an even longer tail than the Indian peafowl. Its emerald green plumage with golden reflections makes it look like a living jewel completely different from the Indian species. The green peafowl has a cobalt blue electric breast and neck that shine like neon. Its tail can be even longer than the Indians, reaching up to 2.20 meters. It inhabits Southeast Asia, where it's less known but just as dazzling. Most incredible is that its ocelli have more intense colors with bright golden centers. They are slightly larger than Indian peafowl, weighing up to 6 kilograms. In Burma and Java, they are considered birds of good fortune. Specimens from specialized breeders can cost up to $15,000. The creator painted this emerald cousin with an even more vibrant palette. Tag someone who needs to see this living emerald. Number 12, black grouse. The European showman with a lyre-shaped tail that performs the most theatrical mating ritual in the bird world. Its tail shaped like an ancient Greek lyre is unique among birds. The black grouse inhabits the Alps, where it performs courtship ceremonies so elaborate they resemble theatrical opera. Males gather in communal arenas called leks, where they dance, jump, and sing for hours to compete for the attention of females. Most striking is its glossy black plumage, with an outward curving tail like an ancient musical instrument. During courtship, they inflate red feathers above their eyes that look like demonic eyebrows. Did you know their displays have inspired classical musical compositions? They are so rare that seeing them in the wild requires guided expeditions through the Alps. God created this mountain dromedus with an operatic style impossible to ignore. Number 11, Palawan peacock pheasant. The Palawan peacock pheasant, Polyplectron napoleonis, is far more than a rare bird. It is a living symbol of identity, ancestry, and ecological fragility of the Philippines. It exists in only one specific place in the world, the island of Palawan, a narrow and mountainous archipelago between the South China Sea and the Sulu Sea. Unlike birds found across entire continents, this pheasant lives confined to a natural frontier defined by geography. It was born surrounded by ocean, grew up isolated, and evolved within a botanical paradise paradise where its beauty became its own language. Its plumage is almost indescribable, a deep metallic green, shimmering, that seems to capture and refract Philippine tropical light. It's not just green, it's liquid green, iridescent, shifting between petroleum blue, dark turquoise, and luminous moss depending on the angle of the light. When sunlight filters through the forest canopy and hits the feathers of the peacock pheasant, the effect resembles seeing polished obsidian decorated with bluish emerald points like tiny stars. These spots, the famous ocelli, are the most iconic and hypnotic feature of the species. They resemble miniature eyes, like circular jewels embedded in the tail feathers. Each ocellus has a metallic green border around a blue center radiating like the pupil of a mystical feline. During courtship, these ocelli turn into visual banners, flags of seduction. The male raises its tail feathers, opens them in a semicircle, and the ocelli shimmer like a miniature star field. It isn't a flamboyant spectacle like the Indian peacock. It's smaller, more contained, more intimate. It's as if this pheasant reserves its beauty for only a few eyes, just for the chosen female, and, rarely, a privileged human observer. And then there's the crest, a living mohawk, flexible, rising like a primitive punk crown. It truly looks like something from a fusion of tribal culture and futuristic design. A line of delicate feathers, thin like biological filaments, balancing function and aesthetic simultaneously. During courtship, this crest expands, vibrates, pulses, transmitting silent signals of sexual identity, vitality, and territorial dominance. To other males, it is a warning. Do not approach my domain. To the female, it is an invitation. Observe this tiny king of the understory. The Palawan peacock pheasant lives mostly hidden. The forest of Palawan is dense. Vines, low palms, thick shrubs, and a floor covered in broad leaves. The species does not fly long distances, only enough to escape immediate danger. Its realm is not the treetops, but the shadowed ground between twisted roots and ancient ferns. It walks with silent dignity, almost stealthily. Every step is measured, every movement deliberate. It does not run, it vanishes. Even among the human inhabitants of Palawan, many have never seen a wild specimen. Some have heard its soft, almost guttural call, but few have witnessed it. It is a living ghost, known more through legend than direct encounters. In indigenous communities, there are narratives attributing spiritual qualities to this bird. Guardian of the forest, messenger of roots, a creature that sees into invisible layers of nature. Some say the peacock pheasant can predict weather, vanish before storms, and reveal underground springs. But this mystical aura contrasts with a brutal reality. The species is on the brink of extinction. The estimated number of wild individuals is likely below 1,000, maybe far less. Every time a piece of forest is cleared for urban expansion, mining, or agriculture, its habitat shrinks. Unlike animals that adapt to human-modified environments, the peacock pheasant does not negotiate with destruction. It does not tolerate living near humans. It does not tolerate farms. It does not tolerate fragmentation. It requires the continuous natural corridor of forest. Conservation programs desperately attempt to prevent extinction. One reason it's so difficult to keep them in captivity is their extreme sensitivity to stress. Change the placement of plants in the enclosure, they notice. Excess noise, they stop eating. Proximity to larger birds, they hide and enter behavioral shutdown. Additionally, reproduction in captivity is complex. Males require sufficient space to display their plumage and perform visual rituals of seduction. Without that, the female simply ignores the male, and there is no egg laying. The international trade of this species is strictly forbidden under global conventions such as CITES, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Trafficking a Palawan peacock pheasant is a serious crime. And yet, in the clandestine black market, there are magnates who try to acquire individuals at exorbitant prices. People who don't understand that this animal does not belong in private exotic aviaries, but in the forest where its lineage evolved for millennia. The peacock pheasant also plays an irreplaceable ecological role. It contributes to seed dispersal, to balancing insect populations, and to soil decomposition dynamics. It is part of the invisible exchanges sustaining Palawan's ecosystem, and its extinction would trigger cascade effects far beyond simply losing a beautiful bird. Palawan is globally recognized as one of the last relatively intact tropical paradises, but that relatively shrinks year after year. Roads cut through once inaccessible zones. Illegal loggers operate inside supposedly protected areas, and with the arrival of humans come dogs, cats, rats, opportunistic predators that that never existed in that system before. There is a particularly moving moment in the history of its conservation when researchers finally managed to film a male performing the full courtship dance in the wild without human interference. That was more than scientific documentation. It was a glimpse of what Earth once was, a planet full of hidden biological rituals, silent animal language, and natural elegance not created for human eyes. Watching that male open his feathers, reflect light like a living stained glass window, and pace in circles around the female was witnessing evolutionary poetry. The dance is not random. It consists of repeated patterns, of encoded steps that survived through generations. It is as if each movement is part of an ancient choreography, a dialogue between genes, natural selection, survival, and romance. Perhaps the most tragic and most inspiring realization is that this species has no plan B. If Palawan is destroyed, it will not migrate, it will not adapt, it will simply cease to exist. And this is where human responsibility begins. Saving the Palawan peacock pheasant is not saving just a bird. It is preserving a unique evolutionary history, a living fossil in motion, an ambassador of a sacred ecosystem. It is acknowledging that there are forms of beauty humanity has no right to erase. Number 10. Satyr tragopan, the Himalayan pheasant with an inflatable throat that looks extraterrestrial during its mating ritual. Its courtship display is literally natural science fiction. The male satyr tragopan has a blue and red skin pouch that is normally hidden, but during courtship he inflates it. Can you imagine witnessing that alien transformation? His plumage is a deep red with white ocelli that look like celestial tears. The strangest part is that he also projects blue fleshy horns from his head, something found in no other bird. It inhabits Himalayan forests between 3,000 and 4,000 meters in altitude, where the cold is brutal. They are so rare in captivity that individuals can cost up to use $20,000. In Himalayan cultures, they are considered messengers of the mountain gods. The creator's imagination reached alien levels with this pheasant that looks like it was designed by a surrealist artist. Tell me if this feathered extraterrestrial left you completely stunned by its absolute rarity. Number 9. Golden pheasant. The Chinese legend with a golden crest and scarlet cape that inspired the mythical phoenix. Its golden crest looks like an emperor's crown, and its scarlet cape flows like living fire. The Chinese golden pheasant is likely the most frequently portrayed bird in Asian art over millennia. Its combination of gold, red, blue, green, and yellow seems impossible in a single animal. The Chinese called it the golden phoenix for its visual resemblance to mythical creatures. Most fascinating is that its bright orange cape can open like a fan around the head during courtship. Males perform dances where they spin, displaying all their colors simultaneously. Did you know they were introduced into England in 1800, where they now live wild? In ancient China, owning one was a privilege reserved exclusively for emperors. Specimens of pure lineages cost up to $10,000. God inspired entire mythologies with this explosion of colors that looks like it stepped out of ancient legends. Keep watching, because what comes next is even more spectacular in feather design. Number 8. Lady Amherst's pheasant. The Asian aristocrat with a 1.5 meter tail and a collar that looks like a count's cape. Its white collar with black stripes resembles a high society Victorian mantle. The Lady Amherst's pheasant has a tail so long it can reach 1.5 arsneri, 3 times its body length. Its combination of white, black, red, yellow, green, and blue looks like a gala military uniform. The open collar during courtship creates a hypnotic spinning disc effect. Most amazing is that it was named after Sarah Amherst, the British countess who introduced it to Europe in 1828. They were so beautiful that Victorians kept them on aristocratic estates as symbols of refinement. Its walk is majestic, with its tail dragging like a coronation gown. In the wild, they inhabit the mountains of Tibet and Myanmar, where they are nearly impossible to find. Divine elegance manifests in this feathered nobleman that demands admiration from observers. Tell me if this Victorian count's cape left you impressed by its extreme elegance. Number 7. Ocellated turkey. The Central American peacock with feathers that shine like jewels and impossible neon blue ocelli. Its feathers shine with such intense iridescence that they look illuminated from within. The ocellated turkey of Mexico and Guatemala has electric blue and emerald green ocelli that glow like natural LEDs. It is considered the most beautiful turkey in the world due to its unbelievable coloration. Its cobalt blue head looks like it was airbrushed with professional dye. Most fascinating is that each feather has bands of bronze, green, blue, and gold that create a rainbow effect. They are smaller than domestic turkeys, but 1,000 times more spectacular. They inhabit the jungles of Yucatan, where the Maya regarded them as sacred. Did you know they were nearly extinct, but conservation programs saved them? The creator's perfection literally shines in every feather of this Central American treasure that defies human description. Don't forget to drop a like if these living jewels left you completely hypnotized. Number 6. Silver pheasant. The elegant Asian bird with plumage that looks like polished silver armor under the moon. Its white-silver plumage with fine black lines looks engraved in precious metal. The Chinese silver pheasant has minimalist elegance that contrasts with its multicolored relatives. Its long tail with black barred white feathers creates a mesmerizing pattern. The bright red face contrasts dramatically with the silver body. Most incredible is its call, which sounds like an eerie human laugh echoing through China's forests. They are incredibly resistant to cold, inhabiting mountains where snow blankets the ground for months. During courtship, males run in circles around females, displaying their tails like silver pennants. In captivity, they are relatively easy to breed, costing between $500 and $3,000. God polished this pheasant until it shone like lunar silver walking through Asian bamboo groves. Tag a friend who appreciates minimalist elegance in nature's perfect design. Number 5. Reeves's pheasant. The Chinese giant with a 2-meter tail that looks like a living kite trailing endlessly. Its tail can measure up to 2 full meters in length. Reeves's pheasant has proportionally the longest tail feathers of any bird. Its plumage is golden and scaled, with a black and white facial mask like an elegant bandit's masquerade. Watching them walk is a spectacle because they must drag that monumental tail. Most fascinating is that they require enormous enclosures to keep their tails from breaking. A single year of damaged growth can ruin a show quality bird. In ancient China, they were so valued that individual feathers were used in imperial crowns. Did you know they were introduced into Hawaii, where they now live wild and confused tourists? The divine patience expresses itself in this tail that takes years to reach its impressive maximum length. Share this if you can't believe there are birds with 2-meter tails dragging regally behind them. Number 4. Eliot's pheasant. Eliot's pheasant. Spermaticus ellioti is undoubtedly one of the most extraordinary examples of how nature can express geometric order within organic biology. It is a bird that looks like it was designed with drafting tools, as if straight lines and graphic precision were elements of its genetics. Of all Asian birds, it is perhaps the most graphic, the most visually abstract. No one could have invented it. It is the kind of beauty that only evolution can produce with millennial patience. Imagine a body with reddish-brown plumage, but not uniform, cut, segmented, traversed by clear and dark geometric bands. This is a bird that carries a pattern resembling a barcode, a visual reading system, a coded sequence that seems to transmit an ancestral secret. The alternating bars create a stroboscopic effect when it moves. The tail seems to vibrate in waves of black and white, hypnotizing observers, and more importantly, hypnotizing females during courtship. Its tail is long, elegant, and extremely expressive. While many pheasants possess exuberant ornamentation, Eliot's pheasant does not need colorful opulence. Its beauty lies in visual discipline, in the elegance of lines. It is like a minimalist counterpoint to the Indian peacock, which relies on color explosions. Eliot relies on disciplined monochrome contrast. Number 3. Gray peacock pheasant. The gray peacock pheasant, Polyplectron bicalcaratum, is not merely a bird. It is a living fragment of the deep past of Southeast Asia's forests, a walking monument to evolutionary aesthetics, a silent king among teak trunks, humid canopies, and ancestral shadows. If you were in the jungles of Thailand or Myanmar, you might first hear, and only then imagine, what kind of creature could emit that sound. The call does not resemble a typical bird cry. It is deeper, older, almost ritualistic. like the blast of a war trumpet echoing through a wall of ancient trees. It reverberates, expands, vibrates between leaves, making the forest floor feel like a stone amphitheater. Some say the gray peacock pheasant's call not only announces its presence to the female, but asserts dominion over its territory. In many ecological niches, song serves to attract, but here it also intimidates. Come closer and you will not immediately see the bird. Perhaps only fallen leaves, patches of light and shadow. This bird knows how to vanish even at 1 meter tall. It is like a colossal gray ghost, and yet invisible. Its plumage is a spectacle of its own. It is not flamboyant like classic peacocks or golden pheasants. It does not burst into neon tones or jewel-like reflections. Beauty here is subtle, aristocratic, shades of graphite gray, weathered silver, and stylized eye-shaped patterns that look like geometric mosaics. When it fans out its tail, the gray peacock pheasant reveals a spread resembling oriental tapestries, patterns that look as though they were hand-drawn by a mystical artisan. It is not ostentation, it is silent royalty. And the tail, oh the tail, long, excessive, impractical for any ordinary creature. It drags along the ground like the ceremonial mantle of an emperor. If a human king were to walk into a coronation hall with a multi-meter train behind him, he would resemble this pheasant gliding through the understory. It does not walk, it parades. It does not move, it processes. In males, the facial mask during courtship transforms. The bare face, usually with yellow and red skin, suddenly becomes a visual banner. They inflate areas of skin, tense muscles, expand tiny follicles, and the result is a dramatic metamorphosis. The face becomes monstrous, almost alien-like, as though the bird had donned a ritualistic mask from the royalty of a lost civilization. For the female, this signals genetic vigor, strong immunity, aesthetic masculinity, and aristocratic identity. For a human observer, it is both bizarre and hypnotic. The behavior of this bird has led many biologists to call it the hermit's peacock. This is because, despite all its splendor, it does not seek an audience. This pheasant does not live in open fields where it can be admired. It hides, rejects direct light, prefers to dwell among roots, fallen trunks, and moss-covered stones. Its beauty was not made for the world. It was made for itself and for the chosen mate. In captivity, only a few professional breeders maintain healthy specimens. They require wide space, controlled humidity, a balanced diet with insects, nutrient-rich seeds, and natural vegetation. They are temperamental and highly sensitive to stress. They do not tolerate the proximity of noisy species and do not adapt easily. A depressed gray peacock pheasant stops singing, and when it goes silent, that ancestral sound disappears from the air, and a small enchantment of nature breaks. The value of up to $7,000 per individual does not come only from rarity. It comes from breeding difficulty and aesthetic fascination. Collectors view them as living jewels. In private breeding facilities, some treat these pheasants like nobles, offering enclosures with fine sand tracks, shallow water pools, structured shadow zones, and small trees for environmental enrichment. In the wild, they live in small groups or isolated pairs. They have internal hierarchies marked by body posture, territorial control, and vocalization. The dominant male tends to occupy a specific area and repeat vocal calls during early dawn and dusk. Ethological studies document that the vocalizations serve as auditory markers of biological ownership of the forest. A warning, here is my kingdom. Their diet is diverse. They consume insects, larvae, small arthropods, seeds, fresh shoots, young leaves, and fallen fruit. There are documented observations of gray peacock pheasants turning leaves with their beaks, scraping the soil with their claws, removing layers of leaf litter to reveal hidden organisms. They are involuntary gardeners, helping with soil aeration and seed dispersal. Culturally, isolated villages in the interior of Burma believe that seeing a gray peacock pheasant brings luck, but hearing it without seeing it is a sign of spiritual alert. Some say the call of this bird guides protective spirits through the forest. There are even regions where they claim the pheasant guards secrets, that it knows invisible paths and forgotten trails, and that experienced hunters follow it not to kill it, but to access routes that no map records. Modern science has only begun deciphering the ecological role of this bird. The preservation of the species is threatened by deforestation and habitat fragmentation. Every time a road cuts through the forest, the area of silent protection for this pheasant shrinks. It does not adapt well to altered environments. It does not move into plantations or human gardens. It disappears. And when it disappears, it takes its song with it, and the silence that remains is different. It is a poorer silence. For naturalists who have had the rare opportunity to observe the gray peacock pheasant in its original habitat, the experience is described as witnessing an apparition. You are walking humid air, minimal light, the ground feels alive, and then something crosses like a solid shadow, too large to be common, too elegant to be chance. You blink and do not know if you saw a bird or a forest spirit. Did it look at you or simply pass by? Something in that movement carries meaning, as though the forest had made a deliberate gesture, offering you a secret. This is not an animal that reveals itself easily. It does not seek applause, does not pose for observers. It exists in a kind of hidden aristocracy of the fauna. It is royalty that needs no throne. The entire forest is its palace, and as long as intact forests survive in Thailand, Myanmar, and parts of Vietnam, this gray monarch will still walk among the green vales. And above all, the gray peacock pheasant is a profound reminder there is beauty in the world not made to be displayed, only to be respected. Number 2. Capercaillie. The capercaillie, also known as the woodland lyre bird or urogallo, is one of the most emblematic creatures of the boreal forests of Europe. When we speak of it, we are not merely describing a bird, we are dealing with a cultural symbol, an animal that inspired legends, medieval songs, folk superstitions, and hunting traditions that stretch back centuries. In many countries, it is regarded as almost a mystical entity, the guardian spirit of the deep forest. Let us begin with its appearance. Its red eyebrows, and technically called supraorbital caruncles, remain dormant throughout the year, discreet and subdued. But when spring arrives, they expand dramatically in size and pigment, swelling like living crimson neon lamps. The bright red coloration is not merely cosmetic, it is a hormonal signal indicating vigor, dominance, and reproductive capacity. It is as though the capercaillie dons a war mask during courtship. Here I am large, I am strong, and my blood burns with the season of fertility. The male's body is powerful, heavy, muscular. Its weight can reach 6 kilars, sometimes more in northern lineages. This makes the capercaillie one of the heaviest flying birds in Europe. Although flying is almost an overstatement, it flies poorly in short explosive bursts. It is like an aerial drumbeat, a sudden ascent followed by a controlled landing. The plumage is complex, bluish-black on the chest with metallic green oil-like reflections under sunlight, white speckles at the bases of the wings, brown and black mottled feathers along the back, and an imposing tail that fans out into a dramatic semicircle. When the male performs its mating display, its posture transforms completely. It lowers its wings, thrusts its chest forward like a Greco-Roman fighter, and raises the tail into a rigid fan, where each feather is like a black blade. It becomes a presence greater than the sum of its body, a totemic figure. In certain ancient cultures, the capercaillie was believed to embody the spirit of the forest. Its courtship display was thought to hold mystical power, bringing fertility not only to females, but to the earth itself. Now we arrive at one of its most extraordinary features, the sounds of the capercaillie. During mating season, at dawn, males begin a vocal sequence that defies conventional description. They produce a series of rhythmic clicks followed by a long, thin, metallic hiss. Then comes the terminal call, a short, explosive pop like a wine cork being forcefully ejected. The most astonishing fact is that in the final seconds of this vocal sequence, the capercaillie momentarily loses its hearing. Yes, it becomes deaf. This is a real physiological effect documented by researchers. The animal literally cannot hear predators approaching while producing the climax of its song. Many capercaillies were historically hunted because of this phenomenon. Hunters knew exactly when to approach, at the one moment when the bird becomes defenseless to sound. Now let us speak of the leks. Ritual arenas for mating and combat. The lek is a traditional site used year after year, sometimes for centuries. Males gather there to duel for female attention. These are not feeble pecking contests, they are true confrontations. Capercaillies leap, charge one another, beat their wings like vibrating swords, and collide chest to chest with enough force to dislodge feathers and even cause concussions. A lek may gather 5 to 30 males, but only one, perhaps two yet, will secure the central position. The lek dominant male. This male becomes the symbolic master of the arena, the genetic gatekeeper. He will mate with most females, while peripheral males watch in frustration, forever aspirants to glory. The females, much smaller with discreet brown plumage, appear silently at the edge of the lek. They make almost no sound. They move with caution, examining the feathered gladiators. They are not impressed by brute force alone. They observe vocal rhythm, physical endurance, bodily balance, tail symmetry, brightness of the caruncles, and confidence of posture. When a female chooses, she does not err. Her selectivity is the ultimate genetic filter. The male who triumphs at the lek propagates his genes. The others are condemned to evolutionary obscurity. Number 1. Guinea fowl. The African bird painted with thousands of white dots that resembles perfectly patterned fabric. The most common of them is also a work of art. The guinea fowl has dark gray plumage completely covered in perfectly spaced white dots that look hand-painted one by one. Its bare blue head with bony crest gives it a prehistoric appearance. Though commonplace, its geometric beauty rivals birds thousands of times more expensive. Most fascinating is that they are natural sentinels. Their alarm calls alert about predators or intruders. In Africa, they are as common as domestic chickens, yet their dotted pattern never fails to impress. Did you know they were domesticated over 2,000 years ago? They are so popular that they are raised across the world for their meat, eggs, and ability to control pests. Their personality is gregarious, forming noisy flocks that resemble African punk bands. During courtship, males puff their feathers into a round silhouette with legs. They can live up to 15 years, becoming loyal farm companions. God democratized perfect geometric beauty by placing it on the most ordinary of African yard birds. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Also, check out other interesting content that is appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.